how to get your customers or team to do what they need to do to get the results that you know that they want. Basically, this is going to be like a how do you motivate your people topic and conversations. And I don't know about you guys, but I run teams in both areas. I have an internal team that works with me over at TanyaEliza.com. I've also got a network marketing team as well. And then I've also got customers that buy a lot of my products and services, and I got coaching clients as well. And sometimes, I don't know if I'm the only one that experiences this, sometimes it is challenging. I'm not going to say it's difficult. I don't like the word difficult. I'm going to say it's challenging, and I like challenges, to get my people motivated to do the things that you know that they need to do to get the results that they want. And it's like, like, how can I just shake you and like move everything from what I know in here over to you? And like, I know that if you can just implement or get motivated to implement, that you would get the results that I know that you told me that you wanted or you needed, or, you know, I don't know about you guys. Am I like the only one? So I was at a retreat a couple of weeks ago, and it was a leadership retreat. So it was all like leaders that were managing teams and running teams. And, you know, always the topic of conversation comes up, like, how do you motivate? How can you get what you know, like you're so motivated and driven? How do you motivate and how do you inspire people to do the things? Okay. So I'm going to share with you a couple of things that I know in my world that have helped really well. And I'm also going to share some things that I'm learning and I'm trying my best to get better at as well. So hopefully this will help you, whether you have customers and that's the only thing that you do that buy your products and services that you're selling, you have coaching clients, or if you run an internal team, maybe you got a VA or maybe some people that work with you, or you got a network marketing team, you got a sales team, this is going to be for you. My name is Tanya Eliza, and I help you grow your brand, grow your business, and to grow your influence online using social media. I have been doing this for myself in my world and for my business since 2010 and have grown a multiple seven-figure brand and business. And each week I like to come out and I like to share strategies and tips with you that are working really well in my world in hopes that they inspire and help you in your world as well. And you go out there and totally crush it. And then you get to share your success story with us, which we love to hear. And what motivates us, and it motivates me to keep going and keep sharing with you guys. So today we're talking all about how to motivate. I shared the 5 core functions of your business and why it's important to understand and know where they are so you know where to focus in your business. These are like the money-making spots in your business. So one of the core pillars is retention and resale. So if you have customers and you have a team, you need to keep those customers, right? So retention is really important. You need to keep those team members. Retention is like so important. It's 10 times easier to keep a current customer retained and get them to keep buying stuff with you and around the campfire and loving your brand and loving your stuff than it is to go out there and get a new customer. It's 10 times easier. So working smarter, not harder, right? So retention is very important. Resale is really important as well. Getting that same customer to keep buying other things from you, like different things that they can keep buying. And so the reason why you want to learn how to motivate your customers and your team, and even internally they're working with you, is because you want to retain them, you want to keep them, and you want them to keep buying from you in an excited way. Like every time you have something new that you recommend or you suggest, that they're like, yes, I'm so excited to buy that from you or invest with you or whatever, right? So this is why it's important to have a system in place that you can utilize to motivate and to keep that customer around the campfire with you and keep them buying from you versus anybody else that's out there. This social media world is crowded with a lot of things. So learning how to stand out is really, really, really important. And it's really not that hard. It's really, really not that hard. But you have to do it. That's the thing. Like what's easy to do is also easy not to do, right? And if we're managing our day every day, sometimes that easy to not do it can be easier than to do, right? I'm guilty of it too. All right. We're not perfect. Okay. So for me, when I am working with a coaching client or I sell one of my products and programs to a customer, or I enroll somebody into our network marketing business, I am so bad. So here's where I'm bad. Sometimes, most times, I want it more for that person than that person even wants it for themselves. Like I am so dedicated to like wanting that person to have the results, to have the success that I'm promising them, or I'm telling them that they could have if they follow. You sign up a customer and you're like, oh my gosh, like I feel like I want it 10 times more for them than they want it for themselves. And then what it does is it puts all of that burden on us. And then it becomes a burden. It doesn't become fun in business, right? So I really had to navigate this myself. And one of the things that is the best thing that you can remember, there are definitely some things and processes that you can put in place. I'm going to share some of those with you here today. However, there's only so much that you can do. You can't do it all. They have to come to the table and they have to meet you in the middle. And typically when you're enrolling customers, when you're working with team, these are all adults, right? We have to remember that we are all adults. Hopefully you're working with adults, and we all can manage our day, right? Like sometimes I'll be working with somebody and I'm like, oh my gosh, like they're an adult. Like I can't do everything for them. Like they have to be resourceful and they have to pick up their pants and they have to get out of bed in the morning. They got to motivate themselves. There's only so many things that I can do. And then that person has to do the rest. And if they're not willing to do the rest, there's nothing that you can do. And then in that case, you've got to just relieve yourself of the energy. However, I'm going to give you some good strategies because there's timing that plays a big part in this for a lot of people. And I have just learned so much in my 12, 13 years of working with team and motivating team that this is going to be really, really important for you guys to remember. So if I look down a little bit, it's just because I'm looking at my notes and I want to keep on track with you guys and give you just all content and not any fluff. Okay. So number one, the first thing that you can do to really focus on resale, retention, and motivation for your new customer in whatever service or product or capacity that you're working with this individual. Okay. They come to you, they spend money in some way, shape, or form. You're working with them to get them the result that you promised to give them. The first thing that you have to have is you have to have a good onboarding system. So they're coming to you and they're believing in you, in what it is that you're like saying that you can help them with. So do you have a good onboarding system for them? A good onboarding system is about 30 days. And this is, and I'll tell you what I mean by this in a minute, but it's a 30-day onboarding system where you're motivating through that onboarding system. You're encouraging, you're showing them the path, you're motivating through this onboarding system. So the onboarding system is, what are the steps that you take your new customer, client, or teammate through after they have spent money with you, after they have signed up with you, they've gotten involved with you, whatever. What does that 30-day system look like? Now, for me, there's two ways that we deliver this system when somebody comes onboarding with us. One of the ways is through email, and we have an email marketing system that drips an email on them. Now, it's not every day for 30 days, but it's periodically. So about every 3 to 4 days, they're getting an email that's encouraging them and pushing them towards the belief and the vision of which they originally signed up to be with you. So this is the thing. When you have something that you're selling, you obviously believe in that thing so much that you're selling, and you believe in it for all of the reasons that you believe in it. However, the new person that is getting involved with you, they don't have that belief yet because maybe they just don't have the tenure. They don't have the time that you've had or the experience that you've had. So what we have to do is we have to build and paint that vision of having that result and having it look possible for that individual. That's a very big key. So having it look possible for that individual. So how do you do that? You share stories, you share testimonials, you paint the picture of what it's going to be like after they complete XYZ program, XYZ system, take XYZ product, whatever it might be, right? For that, time. It's our responsibility to share that vision and encourage and motivate through those stories. And so if you have before and after pictures that you can share with them, if you have stories that you can share, even if they're your own or third-party stories that you can share, this is going to be very motivating for that individual to envision it being possible for themselves. When somebody gets started with you, they don't know yet. It's our job to give them that roadmap. Okay. So an onboarding system, that's really important. And you can do that through email. The second way that we do this is through Facebook groups. So we have a Facebook group, and our Facebook group is typically set up where somebody can go into the guides section of the Facebook group. I'm sure most of you guys have seen guides. Sorry. I love the guides because it gives a step-by-step. Like you can really make those guides be a step-by-step. So when somebody comes on, part of their onboarding is, hey, go join our community. And oh, by the way, here's some getting started steps in sequential order in our guide section of our group. So again, I love the group because it's great community building aspect of your onboarding. Also provides a really good leverage place for people to ask questions or engage if they need anything. It's not just you that has to take that all on. The group can collaboratively do that together. And then you can also use the guide section of the group to provide a really good onboarding getting started. And over the years of us doing this, we even give like beyond 30 days of steps. Like it just builds on top of each other. And so what I like to do is I like to make sure that I am in some way communicating exactly what they need to do, motivating through stories, through a really good onboarding system. That's step number one, that will help your new customer, okay, or new team member. Very important. So that's number one. Here is what I found over my decade plus of experience of being a leader that needs to know how to motivate. I'm going to give you the best way first, and I'm going to give you ways to accomplish this. All right. So the best way to motivate, hands down, if anybody comes to me, Tanya, my sales team is stale. Tanya, my customers aren't doing anything and I want them to get the result that they paid me for, whatever. What do I do? This is exactly what I say to them. The best way that you can motivate your people to do things in whatever capacity, business or personal, is to lead by example. Lead by example. So what does that mean? That means share your journey and results always. Like if people see you living the thing or doing the thing that you're preaching or you're offering, and they see you do it or engulf it or whatever, they're going to be motivated and inspired. Whether they say it or not, they're going to be. And whether it's the right timing from them or not. So lead by example. Be that of what you want your people to be. Do what you say. Do what you tell them to do. Do what you encourage them to do. Don't just sit back and be like telling other people what to do. Embody that yourself. Be that leader, all right? Do what you're teaching or recommending. So everything that I teach in all of my programs that people buy from me, all of the products that I recommend ever throughout my brand, I am personally using those products myself. I am personally implementing all of the marketing strategies and steps that I teach. I live by example day in and day out. I never just tell people, hey, you should do this because I read it over here and it looks good. I'm like, no, I have been doing this. This is what I'm doing. And I'm doing it all the time, constantly. So the people that buy one of our programs that we have, Growth Camp, where I'm teaching people how to build a freebie to generate leads in their business. Well, guess what, guys? Every single week, I give away a freebie, right? I give away a freebie and I market it on social media. So everybody going through that program sees that I'm doing that, and it should hopefully motivate them because of the results that we've been able to grow in the brand and business. Because of that, should hopefully motivate them to go, well, success leaves clues. I'm going to do this because Tanya's doing it. She's not just telling us to do it. She's doing it. If you have health and wellness products, are you taking the products? Are you a example of your product? Are you the product of the product? Scream it literally from the rooftops. If you're recommending something, be a product of the product. And here is the thing that I wish I would have learned a long time ago when it comes to motivating and working with my customers, my coaching clients, and my team. This is the biggest thing I wish somebody would have told me. Because for me personally, you guys, I am very hardcore. Okay. Like maybe I don't seem like it when I'm on social media so much. Like, but I don't know if you guys tuned in like maybe 8 years ago when I was doing videos. Like I was hardcore. I had very little empathy. I'm just going to be real with you here for a minute. I had very little empathy. And it was just the way I was raised. My mother is German. So that will probably explain a lot for those of you guys that know Germans, but we are very hardworking and we literally just don't take crap. Like it's like, we don't even know what excuses are, like at all. There's no excuses for anything. It's like we just get things done, and we have something that bad happens. It doesn't matter. We're focusing on how to make it good. We don't even sit and think about like the bad or even relish in that emotion. And we don't cry like at all. Like it's like you are weak if you cry. Now we all know that is not a good way to be. Okay. At least I've learned this is not a good way to be. It's very good to be tapped into your emotions and be sensitive and caring and have the sympathy. And this was something that I had to learn. So back in the day when I was trying to inspire my team, and I was very hardcore and I was very driven, and I was driving them and I was driving them and I was driving them. And I was trying to be like, hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. Now you got to do this. This week we got to do this. Well, what ended up happening is I ended up driving them away. The reason why I drove them away was because they didn't feel good around me if they weren't getting the results. And I was only praising results. I was not praising activity or just them being around the campfire with me. And this was something that I wish I would have learned because a long time ago to be better at, because I wouldn't have driven my team away and I wouldn't have made people feel like they weren't winning when they were around me. The ability to motivate and be one of the best leaders that you can be is to support and encourage with love, whether somebody is producing or not producing. If they are a customer of yours or even just an online family member of yours, if you make them feel good and you uplift them, whether they are producing right now or not, they are going to feel like they are in the right place and they are going to stick with you forever because you make them feel supported, loved, and you give them a good environment to be in. This I did not know. I thought everyone just needs what they need to drive results. And what ended up happening is a lot of people it's the 80-20 rule, you guys. A lot of people are not going to have results right away. That doesn't mean that they're not going to have results in general. They just might not have results right away because timing is everything for everyone. It took me 4 years to create success in my business online. And because somebody was there with me, encouraging me, telling me, yep, you're going to do it. You've got this. Even though I wasn't creating the results yet that anyone could really like write home about or scream on the rooftops. Like really, I was probably spending more in my business than I was making. But because somebody was there encouraging me and because I was getting loved on and appreciated by my mentors, that was what kept me going. And then at that 4-year mark, it was like, oh my gosh, like things skyrocketed and completely changed for me, which means that they completely changed for a lot of other people too, because I didn't quit on myself, because it was an environment where I felt loved, supported, and encouraged, regardless of what I was producing as far as monetary results. Okay. So if you can create that environment that makes people feel good, no matter what, then they are going to stick around you versus anyone else. I see so many leaders out there in business where they're just hardcore drivers. And that only goes so far. And I just want to say, like, whether a customer or client is in your area right now producing any kind of results, you never know what's going on in somebody's life. They could have 1,000,000,001 crazy things waited on them right now. And if you provide that just supportive community, that's like, as Ricky says, my husband, he's so good. And he says, if you can provide that soft place to land for that person, they are going to stick with you forever and ever and not go anywhere else. And at the end of the day, they're a customer of yours. They're a client of yours. So the way that I coach my people now, it's funny, because of how I was raised, I was always like, if I walked into a room, this is so crazy. This is just messed up if you think about it. But I would walk into, like, let's say this gorgeous house. I'm going to give you an example. And I would walk into this gorgeous house, and it was beautiful, and it was just all well put together. And I would walk into it. My mind was trained to look for the things that were wrong, not the things that were great. My mind was trained to like look at the things and go, what could be better? Not necessarily like wrong, but like, what could be better? Like, is there a spot on the wall that needs to be like washed off? Like, this is really weird, right? And I had to retrain my brain to be like, this is amazing. Like, look at all of the positive things of this and try to block out all of the negative. But take the time and actually love and appreciate where that person is right now, and then encourage their journey forward. So when I'm coaching, if any of you guys are coaches, and by the way, we're all coaches in life, just in general. But when you're coaching, what I used to do is, one of my coaching clients, let's give you an example. They would send me a draft of their freebie to review, and they would spend this time creating the title, creating the hook. And this was the freebie that they were creating for their business to generate leads. And they would send it to me, and I would review it because they were one of my VIP clients. And they would say, hey, Tanya, what do you think of this? Immediately past Tanya would look at that and go, all of these things are wrong. Let's optimize and change them. Well, how do you think my coaching client, who just spent like a copious amount of time and energy building out something that they might have been even nervous sending me to review, but they did it anyways. And then I just say, hey, here's all the things that are wrong. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe that I used to do this. Like, I am just being completely real and humble with you guys, but this is all a growth. Like, this is, when you hear these stories, I know for me, like, they really help me. So hopefully it's helping you, and you guys let me know. But like, now what I do is I will find all of the things that they did good. Like, all of the things that they did good. Like, my brain has to be retrained. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love how you did this with the title. I love how you did this with the pictures and the content. I love your outro. It's amazing. Now, if I would only add a couple of things, because that's what you're paying me for, here's what I would add to make it even more sexy, to make it even more juicy. And now they walk away and they're like, oh my gosh, I did good. Like, my coach said I did amazing. And these are only the little things that I need to do to optimize. How much better of a conversation. Now, I know some of you guys are going to be like way better coaches than me, and you guys have that empath, and you have that, like, you know, you have that more feminine energy. Maybe I have very masculine energy, but at least I'm learning, and I didn't learn too late. Let's just say that. I didn't learn too late. But these are the things that when I immediately started to employ with my team and with my leadership, with my clients, with my customers, and just give them that soft place to land, give them a great, encouraging, uplifting environment, and communicate like that. You guys, my community shot up. All of my testimonials that people would leave, all of the reviews that people would leave, people that would continue to buy and stay a customer and not ask for refunds. All of these things started to happen because of a result of learning how to lead and motivate the team best. It does start with you, right? So you've got to be a product of the product of whatever it is that you're selling. And then you also have to love, support, encourage. And then on top of that, for sure, like, the given is definitely have a good onboarding path for them. One of the things that I talked about on the podcast is my profit producing social media strategy, and I call it the CRAVE formula. So if you guys are taking a screenshot or you're taking notes or whatever, maybe take a screenshot, take a note of the link on where the new podcast is, and you can go and listen to it. But I also give you my 30-day profit producing social media planner for free as a freebie. If you don't have it yet, go and grab it. It's really good. But this CRAVE formula is something that I designed for my social media posting plan to have success when it comes to posting on social media, specifically to drive sales and to drive business, not just engagement, but to drive business and sales. So that might be a really good episode for you guys to go and listen to and support. over at TanyaEliza.com/279. All right, you guys have a fabulous, productive, and profitable week. I'll see you very soon.